A pawn shop looks like a store. A glass case, rings, watches, a guitar on a hook with a tag. You have walked past that glass. Everyone has. This is the picture people keep. This is what they think the business is. They sell used stuff. A buyer walks in. A buyer walks out with a guitar. More sales, more cash. TV taught you that. A man in a shop, a sale, a handshake. Stuff leaves, money comes in. It feels true because it looks true. The window does that job. A guitar faces the street. A tag hangs from the neck. A camera sits in the case. A necklace sits on a pad. A person on the sidewalk slows down. They look. They do not have to walk in. That is the show the street gets. A store of used things, a price on a tag, a thing you could take home today. If the sale was the whole story, the shop would live on the window. Fill the case, empty the case, fill it again. The glass would be the till. A person walks in with a ring. Cash goes out. The ring stays. The case does not get a new buyer. The case gets a new ring. The person walks out with bills. The ring sits in the back. Or it sits in the case with a tag. The shop still looks full. Another person walks in. Same thing. Cash out. A watch stays. The window did not need a sale. The window needed a thing and a slip of paper. I will not name that paper yet. Look at the counter, not the TV sale, the everyday counter. A person needs cash today. They have a ring. They do not want to sell the ring. They want cash and they want the ring back. The shop writes it down. The ring goes in a bag or a box. The person leaves. The case is still full of other things. Guitars, tools, a row of gold. It still looks like a store. Why would a store keep taking things in if the money was only the sale? Why would the case stay full if the job was to empty it? Stop for a second. Have you ever walked past that glass and thought, they make money when someone buys the guitar? Put the town below. The sale looks like the job. The handshake looks like payday. The shop does not look hurt when nobody buys. The lights stay on. The case stays full. The counter still takes the next ring. A shop that only sold used stuff would hate a quiet floor. No buyers, no cash. This shop does not look like it needs a crowd. Noon can be quiet. 2 o'clock can be quiet. The glass does not care. A tag still hangs on the guitar. The lights still hit the rings. The door still opens for the next person with a bag. A sales shop would wait on a buyer. This counter does not wait on a buyer. The next person may not buy anything. They may leave something. The case is the decoy picture. I will not say the trick yet. Here is what you see: a store, tags, glass, a guitar you could take home if you paid the tag. Here is what you do not see yet. The person who left that guitar is still in the story. They can come back. The shop did not need a handshake to stay open that hour. The case stayed full. The lights stayed on. The next ring still had a place to sit. That is the picture that should feel off. A store that does not need a sale to keep the lights on. Here is the turn. They did not need a sale. They needed the person to come back, pay a fee, and take the ring home. That fee is the money. The case is the decoy. The loan is the business. They handed you cash. You left the ring. You come back. You pay to get it back. They want you to come back and pay that fee. They do not need to sell the guitar. If you vanish, they get a used guitar they have to sell. If you come back, they get the fee, and they can hand cash on the same ring again. They are not praying you vanish. Vanish is leftover stuff. Come back is the fee. The company that said the size of this out loud is First Cash. The stock trades as FCFS. I will say the year with you. 2025. U.S. pawn only. Same yearly report. The 10K. Fees on those tickets. $555 million. Profit from selling the stuff in the case. $444,300,000. Profit from scrap. Melted gold and the rest. $22,200,000. Fees beat the case. Scrap is a rounding error. I will not call that 46% of profit. That is the wrong word. Same report, wider mix. They said pawn loan fees were 46% of what they call consolidated net revenue. That is their name for gross profit. It is not net income. Net income was $330,400,000. And that mix includes a separate lender they own, not the pawn counter. I will keep the clean table. 555 versus 444 versus 22. Now the other chain, Easy Corp, ticker EZPW. Fiscal 2025, same kind of yearly report. The pawn service charge. That is their name for the fee on the ticket. About 37% of total sales, 64% of gross profit. They said they stay focused on growing the loan book and the higher fee that comes with it. I will not mash those two chains into 1%. First Cash is the dollar table. Easy Corp is 64% of that year's gross profit. Spring check. Easy Corp, 9 months of fiscal 2026. Fee line, $435,500,000. Gross profit, $729,200,000. That is about 60%. Gold scrap rose. Use 64 only for fiscal 25. First Cash, first half of 2026 U.S. pawn. Fees, $307,900,000. Retail profit, $244,100,000. Scrap profit, $22,600,000. Fees still lead after a gold spike. That is the product. Here is how the ticket works. No credit check, no collections department, no hit on your credit file. They do not book a loss on the loan. If you do not come back, the cash they handed you becomes the cost of the leftover stuff. In Texas, the law says it plain. The person who left the goods is not obligated to redeem them. Most of the cash they handed out still comes back as a payoff. Same First Cash year. People paid back $1,197,000,000. Stuff they kept after no pickup, $759,300,000. I do not have a ticket-by-ticket rate in that yearly report. I will not invent one. I will not say 80% never come back. I did not see that in the 10K. The average U.S. ticket at First Cash was about $312 at the end of 2025. By June 30, 2026, about $322. Easy Corp's typical U.S. ticket sits about $200 to $220. The fee is not one flat number for the whole country. Florida caps it, 25% per 30 days, a $5 floor. Texas is a ladder. Bigger tickets pay a smaller percent. The dollar cutoffs move. I will not paint a live card I did not photograph. I will not say 20% a month as the whole story. Florida gives you 30 days. Then they hold the item 30 more. Then it can become theirs. Texas waits after the due date, holds 30 more days, then they may keep it. About 1 in 4 U.S. homes is unbanked or underbanked. First Cash said that. On June 30, 2026, 74% of their U.S. collateral was jewelry. 26% was everything else. Repeat visits matter. That is not a club. That is a person who still has a ring. Now the honest start. Do not start this in a garage for $50,000. I will not invent that number. The big chains list the parts: cash, loans, cases, cameras. They print no startup dollar. The Wolfe path is a live shop. Keep the license. Keep the book of tickets. One named Ask. Griffin, Georgia, 2026. Ask price, $499,000. Inventory in. Sales about $577,000. The seller said profit over $130,000. That is seller said, not an audit. Rent, $2,000 a month. That is an ask, not a sold price. On the sold market, pawn shops on BizBuySell, from late 2021 through mid-2026, the median sale was $350,000. If you try to open new in Texas, the floor is $150,000 in net assets per shop. The application is about $875. You cannot open while the file is pending. In big counties, a 2-mile rule. You must tell state police and local police. Florida is cheaper on paper, $300 a year, $50,000 in net worth, or a $10,000 bond. Every ticket goes to the sheriff at night. Unlicensed pawn is a felony. First Cash at year-end 2025, 3,330 stores, 1,207 in the U.S., 490 in Texas. U.S. pawn fees, $555 million. U.S. pawn profit before tax, $452,600,000. Easy Corp, 1,360 stores. Loans out, $307,500,000. Now the risks. A cop can freeze an item. Stolen goods lists. Daily dumps. Police holds. A state can cut the fee. Rate caps are real. Texas will not let you trade while the license sits in a pile. The $150,000 is a floor, not the whole check. Cash in the drawer is a risk. Crime is a risk. Easy Corp names both. Guns need a federal firearms license. Gold can swing scrap. It did not knock fees off the top of the table. I do not have the mix for a one-shop independent in that packet. Public companies only. I will not invent a small shop percent. You are more likely to buy a live shop than to invent one in a garage. Keep the case. Keep the book. Keep the license. Go back to the glass. The case still looks like a store. Rings, a guitar with a tag, a handshake on TV. That is the show. The money is the person who comes back, pays the fee, and takes the ring home. They do not need to sell the guitar. The case is the decoy. The loan is the business. I am Wolfe. We follow the money. Wolfe Business Journal.